All right. So now that you have your drawing on your cardboard for your Alebrije, and you've created some sort of landscape going along with it, like in the background, so that way it's not just floating in space by itself, it has something else going on with it. So when I say that, I mean we have like some hills over in this area. That's what this little line right here is. I got some little mountains in the distance. I put some clouds up in the sky, and I put some little plant type stuff over here. Remember, your Alebrije is like 2 or 3 animals put together. So it's like the elements that we would find on our altarpiece. It would be like earth, fire, wind, water. So what do we have going on here? Well, I have feathers like a peacock. So that would be wind, earth for my little critter. That's kind of like a raccoon and a deer going on together. And then this little like duck chicken foot thing going on over here, I thought could be like water because it represented like a bird that could swim. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding yarn to our yarn painting, our Mexican yarn painting. You are going to need school glue. I would use like Elmer's glue or whatever kind of glue you can get that's like this, because it's going to be a lot easier for you when you go to fill in different areas. Now, the reason why we put in all of these lines, all of these beautiful, beautiful lines, was because that line is where a piece of yarn will end up. Oh, the joys, huh? So all these little lines that I made up here will have a piece of yarn, and then it'll have like a filler yarn in between, because if it's a painting, we're going to fill it up. So we're filling it up with yarn. So just for an example, I'm going to do this little section right here with the clouds, and I'm going to zoom in my camera for you so you can watch and see like kind of like it's a easy and also can be kind of tricky. So you're going to want some glue. Here's the fun part. Sometimes your glue has a mind of its own and it just goes wherever it wants. So say I'm going to do just to right here. I would always do little sections. I wouldn't fill glue into all this area because I want to follow my lines. So I want to do my cloud, like the bottom of my cloud, with a light blue. So I'm going to follow. This is the fun part. Sometimes your yarn wants to work with you and sometimes it doesn't. All right. I'm going to use my pencil to make it do what I want. Remember, you are the boss with your artwork. Make it work. And if you find like a section like this is just too big and it's not working for you, you can always do a smaller section. So I like to work right off the roll, right in this area. And then, oh, you get over here. There we go. So I'm just going to press it down. I mean, like, it's not ideal to put glue on your pencil, so maybe a toothpick or a Q-tip would work better. That's just what I had right now. And then I'm just going to come back in and I'm going to snip this. If you want to cut your yarn in advance, you're more than welcome to. But then that is the first step. And then I would alternate. Maybe I would put some white next to it so I know that it would fit in just right. Also, if you go to fill in big areas, this is what else I wanted to talk about. If you're going to fill in a big area, for example, this section right in here. So I'm going to fill in this area. And I'm even going to like just kind of dab my glue around. Now this is a lot of glue, so try not to use too much. You want your yarn to stay on, but you don't want it to be like so full of glue that it's just a big old swampy mess. And you want to be able to like separate your finger from your glue later on. All right, so I'm going to use dark blue for the sky underneath because I want this to look kind of like we have maybe some blues and some whites up here for our clouds, and then we'll have like a nice dark blue underneath it. So I'm going to start right here. And don't just scrunch up your yarn and make a giant mess. The whole point of yarn paintings is that you're creating a line with them and you're filling a space. So we're going to push this down. This yarn doesn't want to go back and forth very well. It wants to be difficult. If you have yarn that doesn't want to work with you, it's just a little bit at a time, and eventually it's going to stay down. The craft glue works really well too for this, but it is up to you. Whatever kind of glue that you have, just try not to use hot glue for this because it makes all those little stringy boogers, and then they're hard to get off your yarn because they really stick to them. So let me see, I want to push this together. There we go. And I'm going to press my finger down just so that I have a little bit more control. And I'm going to press my finger down right there. And I'm going to give it a minute. It's okay to take your time and let this fill in. If you have some spots where you are having trouble getting it to stay down, then we'll go back in and we will add a little bit more glue, but not like too much, and try not to put it right directly on top of it. The whole thing is you don't want to be able to see your glue on this. So notice how I'm going back and forth with my yarn, and I'm pressing it closer together so that way we don't have those extra little pieces that are showing through. I'm going to hold that one right there. This project is going to take a little bit of time. It's okay to take a little bit of time on your projects. The more time you add to it, the more effort you're putting into it. You're taking care of like what it's going to look like, its presentation. Presentation is important in art. We want things to look nice. We don't want to present a big messy piece of artwork. We want to present something that looks like it took time and effort and patience to make. Okay? Also, if you start to get a little frustrated, that's okay. Not every project's going to be easy cheesy. Some of it is going to be a little bit stressful, and it's going to require a little bit more patience. That's all right. So we're just going to keep continuing, and we'd fill this whole area in with the blue, and I just slowly work my way down. So I'll go back up in here later on and add more to the clouds. I'll finish up this part. My plan is to do the background first and then to save my animal for last. All right? Remember, patience is key on this one.